All right. What do we have going on? Where's this thing? Oh, there he is. There's Emmanuel. He beat me very quick. Very quick.
Hey, Pete. One minute.
Yep. We're all gonna get our little situated here.
All right. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I'm uh,
Cool.
I'm trying out new new gadgets and stuff, so I got my earbuds in this time. Get
Oh,
some different light.
yeah. Yeah,
Get some
yeah.
different
See that?
lights.
There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. So I don't get distracted by the rampaging dogs and kids. So
Right. Exactly.
yeah, that's right. Awesome. Well,
What's
we got an
yeah,
interesting program here. Again, I
we
didn't.
do.
This
What's
was
happening?
I know this is total random. You know me, I like to troll around the store, and I was like, I want to find out if there's any values in France left, and
Exactly.
and I know we scratched the surface a little bit with our some of our summer programming when we had some rosés, um, and I just sort of bumped into that little corner of the store, and so here we go, folks. This is our. I'm Pete, Great American Nosh. We live by the mantra "Eat, Drink, Savor." We believe there's something more than just eating and drinking every day. What we focus on is food, education, appreciation, wine appreciation, and education. This is part of our wine education programming, Wine in Three. And with me, I have Emmanuel Montevecchi. He is my wine guy. He has been a very valuable member of this program with all of his picks over the last year, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Thanks, Pete.
yeah,
Ready to yeah.
we're coming up on an anniversary here, and I think I put this in a post, but what started as me just traipsing into the store doing a 1 minute video has turned into this kind of program. So I think
Yeah.
it's more for the better, don't you think?
I think so, yeah. It's gotten real
Yep.
involved, I think, in the last, several
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, and
You
we're
know, we're,
definitely learning a lot of stuff, right?
oh, there's a lot of content for sure.
That's right.
We're
That's
picking up a lot of information, things that with these two wines, and I know
hmm
you're gonna get into it soon. I
Yep.
really they were off my radar, so I'm kind of very interested with today's segment.
Yeah, you're going to be fascinated. So, and I lost track. Oh yeah, and our program is basically Emmanuel is actually usually is the one who grabs two wines that we highlight every two
That's
weeks.
right.
And we talk about typically three topics, but we usually add more. But it's always the grape, the variety, the region, the makers, the winery themselves, the names, the labels. It could be anything. So we try to make this as engaging as possible, and obviously we do some wine tasting at the end. And this time I decided to give Emmanuel a little bit of a Christmas or a February vacation break with his children, and he can
You
do
gave me
some
a
skiing.
mulligan, little
Yeah, I
mulligan.
gave him mulligan. So I took the honor of picking the two wines this time, and we are going into what they call the Languedoc region, which is in the south of France. And it is not as well known as obviously Bordeaux and Burgundy and Loire and Chablis and Champagne. And so that's one thing. And for me, it was all about finding values, trying to find more wine values because that's what Emmanuel and I focus on. We focus on sub $25 bottle wine. We will go above of that from now time to time, but for the most part, we're trying to focus on the budget conscious consumer, which is me a lot, and obviously Emmanuel too. But he's on more on the selling side, and I'm more on the buying side.
That's
But
right.
we are both on the appreciating and drinking side of things. So, and that's kind of why I went to the Languedoc region. And the reason, and then I'm going to talk about, let me show you the Languedoc. I'm going to talk about Languedoc first, and then I'm going to have Emmanuel can jump in as well. So Languedoc is basically what it looks like right here. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. Yeah. And that's the region. It's in the south of France. I believe you had posted something earlier that showed more of a where it was in relation to
I
France.
did. I did. It kind of polarized it a little bit. You know, you could kind
Yeah.
of see the mountains,
Yep.
the Pyrenees Mountains there,
Mm-hmm.
Mediterranean Sea
Yep.
there. Yeah,
Got it. That's right. And so from my notes on Languedoc is it's kind of a mountainous area, right off the Pyrenees, right across the border from Spain, and then it flattens out to coastal plains. The Romans were responsible for bringing winemaking to that region. They were the first French region to be introduced to wine growing and winemaking. They were mostly known as quantity over quality. It really was, and I guess
for
once the
sure.
railroads reached that region, many in the 1800s, really turned into it was all about light reds. It really was, and about big jug wines. Oh, there we go. We lost the camera there. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, a
Hey,
little
we're
technical
live, folks.
difficulty. That's all right. We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it.
But they were really known for developing robust, deep-colored red wines, and they actually got to a point where they're exporting or importing other reds to blend them down. They were bringing them in from Africa and Italy and Spain. And cooperatives were a major force in Languedoc, and they still are. And then I think by the 80s, Languedoc was actually responsible for about 10% of the entire planet's wine output. Now, that was an interesting stat, and I dug up from nowhere. And now they're getting to the point where they're focusing more on quality. They have some interesting wine varieties over there. I think Carignan is one of their grapes that they are well known for. Think of it as a Zinfandel, but it's really developed super tannic, deep red, but very more suitable for blending. It's really tough to have a pure Carignan wine by itself, and and obviously the region has started to develop interesting whites as well. But this is obviously we're going to focus on reds here because this is what they're known for. And they have a few, AVAs, but mostly it's kind of one big region. They do break it up a little bit, but I don't think they don't have the cachet as some other AVAs, as you and I have talked about. And I'll take a little bit of a break, but let me know if you can fill in some spots that I missed. So,
well, okay. So I'm thinking as far as the Languedoc region, as you said, Pete, is in the south.
mm-hmm.
So Burgundy gets a lot of acclaim out of that area. France.
Yep.
Burgundy's
Mm-hmm.
the area really that's prominent. People know that area pretty well. People that are familiar with any wines out of France. So Languedoc rosés are something that comes out of that area. So people
mm-hmm.
may have heard that area before, and rosés are very prolific in that area. But as you said, which I'm really interested in, we're going to get into some reds, and these wines were just totally, kind of sort of just completely. I wasn't familiar with them at all, so I got to dig into that a little bit, and it was kind of cool that you were able to kind of go with this and switch it up, so you could choose the wines.
Yep, and it was again, it's random, so for me, it was like interesting finds on some of the information we dug up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And all right, so I'm going to move to which wines I picked, and I'll explain why I picked them.
Great.
First, we got the La Cuvée Mythique.
Yes.
I think that's how you say that, Mythique.
Mythique, yeah.
Yep, and then the next one is this Luc Perlet. Kind of a straightforward Minervois is the AVA on this, silver label. And the reason why I picked these two, folks, is I know we focus on label bias and price bias and all this stuff, but this label jumped out at me. I think it was the rusty color and the owl. You know,
Yeah, the owl.
The
Yeah,
owl jumped at
absolutely.
me. It was the owl. So that's one thing.
I saw that right away. I saw that right
Yep.
away when I picked that wine up. But we're gonna
And
talk about that. We're
yes,
gonna
we are.
talk about that. So
Yes, I know you're going to fill. I know you got some
the
interesting
mythology
tidbits.
around that, the mythology.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I know you're a history buff there. So, and then this one, I picked it because it was so ghastly boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is the most boring. I mean, you and I had an episode of
Simple, Pete. We use the word
very,
simple.
we used a simple, yeah, very simple
Simple.
label.
Simple
But,
doesn't mean necessarily boring.
no, but it is boring. This one's
Okay.
boring.
All right.
It's boring.
All right. Maybe it is. Maybe it
does
is.
not. I mean, maybe you got a little bridge, but you know, for the there's a little bridge on here, folks, if you could see it. But really, I thought it was the most boring label. But Emmanuel and I did an episode almost a year ago where it was basically very nondescript labeling for two wines that were California blends, actually, they were actually pretty good. It was the Blue Wing and the Cellar Classified, I think, is the two.
Yes, I
That's
recall
right.
those. That Blue Wing is a Rodney Strong product.
That's right, Rodney Strong. But those were a little bit more interesting labels, but really didn't really add much to the, what was going on, why
Yeah, they
people
were
would
a
buy
little
it.
more elaborate, for sure.
Yeah,
Elaborate.
a little bit more elaborate. So, and I'm going to get confused on my wine here.
Uh-oh. It's a little early for that, Pete.
Oh no, oh no. I think I messed up my wine. All right. All right, so let's talk about the myth. Actually,
Can you get back to where you need to be?
yeah. Let me.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what you need to do.
Yeah. I have to do a little juggling here. So I don't know which one is which. So I'm gonna have to clean that up. But go ahead. You could add some more stuff, folks. Don't worry. It's a little technical
All
problems that
right,
happens with
so
live TV.
while Pete, he got, a little confused. It happens,
All
But
right. There's that.
yeah, these wines, as we've said, Pete has chosen these wines. I have prior to today, I've always picked the wines, so I'm very enthusiastic about what we're going to get into tonight. And these are kind of French reds, as
Yep.
Pete has said earlier,
right.
Languedoc region.
Yep. Okay. I'm good now.
You good? All right.
I'm
Pete.
good.
Hey, we're back in order.
I'm sorry. It just one of those
It's all right.
it's one of those moments, an old age moment. All right.
No,
Thanks for filling in. I appreciate it. So let's talk about Mythique first, because I think that one's the most fascinating one.
Sure.
The other thing is, because I did this randomly, a lot of this stuff just happens. I didn't pick it because of some of these characteristics. So
Spontaneity. Yeah,
the spontaneity. So
okay.
the interesting thing about Mythique is it's not really a family. I sent the winery a bunch of questions, but it doesn't seem to have any family connection. Most of the wineries that you and I highlight, there are multi-generation families, or there's some superstar winemakers as well. And in this case, this one did not. It's really a co-op.
I was going to say a cooperative situation. Yeah.
It's a cooperative situation.
Yeah. Many growers.
1,500 growers, from what I can read.
Quite a bit.
And what they did is, supposedly for this wine, is they have all their growers submit, and I don't know if they submit a single varietal or a cuvee, which is a cuvee. This is obviously a blend of many different grapes. They have all their growers send in a cuvee, and then they have blind tastings, and then they pick the one that goes into the bottle and gets this label, which is kind of interesting.
It is. It's new for us. We haven't discussed this at all.
No.
I didn't. The idea of that. We're shedding some light onto that tonight. It's new for our content.
Yeah, we're not used to this. So, again, there's no person to focus on. I know the other one I do, but it's definitely different. This thing, I think they started this about 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
They have about 6 different wines that they produce, red, a white, and a rosé, and then they have some bio, organic, offerings as well. So that's one thing. And then the blend on this one, very fascinating. Here we go. I'm gonna rattle them off. We got Syrah, we
You got
got
a lot. There's a lot.
Marcelin, you got a Carignan, and you got Grenache, and you got Mourvedre. And Syrah's 38%, Marcelin is 27, 21, 11, and 3. So you got probably 3 or 4 grapes that are like, yeah, I mean, talking like this is a blend.
Oh, no doubt.
True blend, okay? And then let me jump to Perlet, and I'll let you jump in as well, because you probably have more on this than I do. I couldn't find much on Perlet. But Luc Perlet is I can't say my French right. Is it Negozant? Negozant? Is that how you say that? It's like a merchant. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the pronunciation.
Yeah. It's so this is Luc, by the way, folks. Luc Perlet. This is his wine.
This one's tough.
This one's tough. And he has a lot of different plots all over Languedoc. Most of his plots are in these circled regions here, folks, where you have a couple of circled regions, but all these wines come from all these circled regions, mostly in the Minervois, AVA, or bordering it. And so he collects it from all those plots around there. He has a reserve wine. He has 20 different wines, so he obviously has a larger selection than the Mythique. And he vinifies under his own name. So he does have growers, but he's the one who actually makes the wine. And on this one, the blend is obviously, it's kind of a flip. It's an inverse of the other one, where we have 50% Grenache, 35% Carignan, and then 15% Syrah. So we have some interesting things. And then the other thing that I ran into is when I tried to get some history on Luc Perlet, it kept directing me to Mr. Trone, who owns Total Wine.
That's right. That's right. Now, I didn't get that. I know that we were communicating about it, and you were telling me that, but I didn't get that. I got onto just a site. It's obviously it does direct you to Total Wine. Yeah. It's just I'm familiar with some of the varietals of Luc Perlet. This one, as I said, I'm not, but they do a nice Pinot Noir. They do a nice Pinot Noir for sure that I've experienced, and it's somewhat popular in the shop. Got it. So in any case, let's see where we go here
well, the reason why I say that Trone kept jumping up is it's actually on their website.
Is that right?
I think it was either under press or
I don't know. I didn't see it. I must have.
It was press or contact, and under the contact tab, it had a bio on Mr. Trone and what he did, and it's like I don't know, maybe someone hacked their website. I don't know. It was very strange, but it was definitely in their same fonts and their same outlay of the website. So I don't know what it was. Anyway, so it could have been a bizarro world I was in. Anyway, but I
mean it makes sense because the Total Wine I think is one of the main sellers of the brand.
Yeah, and I think it's the Winery Direct, right? It's under that program.
Yes, yeah, it's what they do at those Total Wine stores. That's right. Got it.
All right. So what should we do the Mythique first?
This is your piece.
All right, is my gig. All right, we're gonna. I poured the Mythique. I re-poured the Mythique because I got confused. And we got. This is interesting. We got more of a. I would say it's more of a kind of a ruby. Pretty intense to the edge. If you could see that, folks, it's hard to see on this this angle here. What do we got here? Swirling, swirling, swirling. I love this. It's the best part of the whole job. Swirling, swirling, swirling. Wow. So it's an elegant. It's not in your face. Not intense. Gotta clear my nose a little bit, but
it's inviting.
It's very inviting. It's subtle. It's probably the right word. Subtle, very subtle.
Nice bouquet.
I'm getting a little pepper. More of a licorice on the top end for me.
Well, the pepper makes sense, with the
Yeah.
Syrah.
Yeah.
That makes sense for sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not getting much for fruit.
No.
Maybe, I don't know. I
You
don't
want
know
to go
about
bramble? You want to
a
go bramble
bramble.
again?
Yeah, brambly. It's got some herbal notes to it. I can't.
Herbaceous?
Herbaceous, yeah, where you get the bramble and and the stem with it. I don't know. What do you? I mean, I don't really get much else for flavors here.
Earth, some kind of earth, maybe. Um, you know, I heard the term gravelly. We'll see how that goes. I heard the term
Gravelly. All
gravelly
right.
from one of my people that I confide in. One of my other guys
Yeah.
in sales.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm getting a
This
little
is new.
gravelly.
This is new. This
Yeah.
is totally foreign to me. Which
I'm
yeah, a little gravelly, yeah.
a little potting soil, maybe. Interesting.
Potting
It's
soil.
it's definitely evolving a little bit. I've had it aerated for about an hour and a half, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a
doesn't need
while.
any more. It's a while. Yeah.
Longer than I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go diving in, folks.
Sip it. Sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sip, sip, sip.
All right. Salud.
Wow. That's a long finish.
Yeah.
It's
It's
prickly.
still with me. It's still with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the back on that is
Yeah.
it remains for a while.
Yeah. It's like it's got that tingly tannin thing going. I don't know. It's like prickles, like.
Yeah, like warm and fuzzies.
Yeah.
you know? Right. So the piece with the Languedoc too, just to put this out there,
Yeah.
the price points. Once again, that's what we're about here, in Wine and Three.
Right.
Price points
Yeah.
out of Languedoc, because Bordeaux's, that area, Burgundy
Wow.
area. If you get into Chablis, like you were talking about earlier, Chablis, the whites there can be expensive, very expensive.
Yeah, you're going.
Where?
I mean, you can't. I mean, some of this. It's disheartening because I love Bordeaux and I love Burgundy, but when you're approaching 60, 70, just to get into that area, $60, $70 a bottle.
Right.
It's like it's great now and then for a little splurge, but
Yeah.
don't want to be doing that a
Special
lot.
occasion. The circles
Yeah.
that I'm in, usually it's like a special occasion.
Yeah.
I always look for, just economical, budget-friendly wines, because you can get them. You can get them, and you can stick with the status wines, as we've talked about many a time. You can get into labeling, but that's we're trying to remove that with our segments. So,
boy, there's in that mid palate, right in the middle of my tongue, is that tannin. It's like grip. It's like a grippy tannin. It grips, and then when the finish is so long,
it does grip. Yeah.
I don't think it as a complex wine. It's not. I mean, in terms of the taste and the finish, I think it's just a long finish. I'm not getting multiple feelings every time I drink the wine. I think it's the same prickly on the front,
Right.
grippy tannin in the middle, and then a long finish. The acidity's not there, not at all. I'm not getting that. It's I would say kind of a medium to full body.
Yeah.
Give or take. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
It's not like a Cabernet. It would be really robust and oof. I mean, I think pork would go well with this. By the way.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're,
You
you're
can maybe
chefing
get away with a
it
little.
up. You're gonna
Chefing it up. Get a little turkey. Maybe a little turkey with that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm going to clean my palate. We're going to move on to the Luc Perlet.
Okay.
You know what? I think I have a theory. I think maybe there's too many grapes in that wine. Um,
Well, that's a good that's a way to look at it. I mean, there's definitely you have
I,
to know the proportions. I would imagine, and
yep.
you have to be quite a master at blending. But I think you're onto something there, Pete. Maybe
Yeah.
they went a bit too much with going in different directions with the grapes.
They overdid it. Yeah, I think they might have overdone it because because it's simple. In other words, it's not complex. Like the flavor is not complex. So because you blend it so much that there's no one grape that's really standing out other than maybe
Exactly.
that's Syrah with the peppery on the aroma. But
Right.
um,
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
you're
a
making
theory.
sense. You're making sense. Yeah. You
All
know.
right, so we got the Luc Perlet. That's got a little bit of a deeper color, I think. Edge of purple, maybe. I don't know. A little ruby. Not bad. All right. Always swirl, folks. This is like
You gotta open
this
it
will make
up.
this may open it up. Let it breathe.
Let it breathe. You want oxygen to get in there. You want
Yeah,
oxygen to get right in that wine,
yeah.
inside the glass.
So my wife asked me the other night. She goes, "You're always swirling wine. Is that like a nervous habit, or are you actually doing something?"
It's like a tick. It's like a tick, Dale.
It's like a tick. It's
He
like
can't
a
help himself.
tick.
He gets
I
around
can't
wine and he
help
starts,
myself. She goes,
it's
"What are you doing?"
nervousness.
I'm like, I said, "I'm opening it up." She goes, "You've been opening it up for an hour." I'm like,
Well, sometimes it takes a while, Gail.
"Hey, no, that's right. That's right." She, no, she was funny. It was really cute. I'm like, okay. Oh, this one's a little bit more beguiling.
Oh, beguiling. Okay.
Beguiling. Yeah, I
Wow.
see. I use big boy words now.
I know you're a big boy.
Beguiling. All right. It's just wow. I I'm kind of baffled now. It is
You're baffled. This is a
more
Luc
of a
Perlet, right? The Luc Perlet.
yeah.
The
I'm getting more of
Memoirs.
more of a currant black cherry maybe on the edge, but not a lot. Definitely earthy.
Definitely
Got
black
that.
cherry.
Yeah, I got the black cherry. That's because
Definitely
yeah.
earthy.
It's the same subtle aroma, like the Mythique, which is
Yeah. The Mythique, yeah.
interesting. Yeah, and the blend on this Luc Perlet is 50% Grenache, 35% Carignan, and 15% Syrah. So it's inverse of what we just had, but it's only got three grapes. So
Right. In the Carignan, which I hope that's the pronunciation. That one kind of I get stuck on
Carignan, yeah, Carignan,
Carignan.
yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
You find that a lot out of Bordeaux. So the Bordeaux,
yep,
when you have blends out of there, use that obviously. We were saying that just to bring it up
hmm
again. You'll get that GSM. People may be
yep,
familiar with GSM here on a domestic
that's right. Yeah,
level
explain
here in
that
the
GSM
U.S.
for people. So yeah, explain that
So
for
the
people because they don't
GSM
quite get it.
is an abbreviation. So it's the Ganache Syrah Mourvèdre. That's the blend, the GSM.
hmm hmm
Um, I'm trying to think of let's see a producer that might stand out.
It's all the Rhones, like all the
I
Southern
think out of
Rhone.
Washington
Yeah,
State. Out of Washington
yeah,
State, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't carry the wine any longer.
yep.
It is what was the name of that producer? Washington. It was. It might come back to me later, but
Yep.
they out of that area there, the
hmm
uh, not Walla Walla, maybe Columbia Valley
Yep.
area,
Okay. Yeah,
perhaps I
that's right.
believe.
Yeah. hmm
Um, I want to say
Yep.
Heights. It's not Heights. It's
Yeah.
it'll come back to me
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
All
but
right.
yeah, so that's
Well,
that's that's a blend, and that's the abbreviation, the GSM.
yep. And
Ganache, uh, Syrah,
Syrah
Mourvèdre.
Mourvèdre, yeah. Yep. And those are mostly Rhone
Yeah, Rhone.
blends,
Yeah, it's Rhone style.
Rhone style. You know what? I'm I'm not getting anything more than what we just discussed, which was sort of that black cherry. There's no peppery here.
No, no
Um,
peppery,
no peppery.
like the Mystique.
Yeah. It's It's rather simple, which is fine. We've been baffled before by no aroma, and all of a sudden you get this great taste. So I'm going to go diving in.
Absolutely. Huh.
Well, that's not
All right.
there. Something's missing. But did I just drink wine?
Yeah, you would know. Maybe you would know.
Oh,
Pete, I don't know what to tell you, Pete. Here, I gave you the reins, and I don't know.
I don't know it.
I was anticipating some nice wine tonight too.
All right. Well,
I've gone too far.
all
I've gone
right.
too far.
No, it's fine. So, folks, we're in the middle of this Luc Perlet tasting from Minervois AVA of Languedoc, and then before you guys came in, we were obviously tasting La Cuvée Mythique. Let me try this again.
Yeah, give it another shot.
Sometimes first tastings don't quite add up, but
Well, it's like first impressions. Sometimes they're not the best. It's a last impression. Last impression.
oh my gosh, this is like flavored water.
Oh, okay.
There's some tan in there. Very uninteresting. Oh my God, I haven't had one like this in a while.
I can't say I disagree.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, what do you? I mean,
You don't know until you experiment a little bit.
yeah. This is. I mean, I had a few acidic Pinot Noirs a couple weeks ago I had to dump out, which I rarely dump out wine, folks. If I do, it means it's undrinkable.
Right.
You can't even put it in your food.
It's point.
Yeah, it's not even worthy of saving for some other use besides drinking. Wow, what the heck were they thinking here? And meanwhile, I'm bashing the Mythique because of the five grapes, and these guys simplified it with the Grenache up front, 50%.
Right.
Yeah, Grenache is 50%. So, and I like Grenache. I know you do because obviously some of the Spanish Grenache
wines.
is
It's
yeah,
great.
oh my goodness.
So great.
Yeah, I love those. And here, maybe the Carignan is pulling away from the Grenache.
Maybe. I'll take the Mystique over the Luc Perlet. I would if needed to. If absolutely needed to.
I was on a desert island, and I had a bottle of Perlet. And
if I was only obligated to, if I had,
Yeah. Well, I would dump out the wine in the Perlet and put in a message in the bottle and send it off.
Oh, okay. Well, then you get some use out of it.
Yeah, out of the bottle at least, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I mean, it's not like offensive. It's just nothing there. Nothing is there.
Yeah,
I'm reaching back and there's nothing.
It's unpolished, as we said before. Remember with the wine that we had the Saperavi?
Oh yeah, the Georgian one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Georgia from the country of Georgia.
Yeah, that's right.
So on that kind of level, where there was something missing, we said unpolished.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going on here. But I mean, Languedoc, is known for rosés. They make some really great, beautiful rosés.
Yeah.
But I think with these reds, the reds that we're having tonight, the Luc Perlet.
Yeah.
The Luc Perlet. Let's see, here it is.
Yeah. Yep. Luc Perlet. Yeah. Yep.
The Minervoirs.
Minervois. Yeah.
And then the La Cuvée
Mythique. Yep.
Mythique. Yeah. So these are probably not the best representation of that area of Languedoc.
But actually, this isn't bad. I'm going to go back to this in 2 seconds once I clear my palate. But I would say this is more prototypical Languedoc than I'm used to, or I've read about, which is really light reds, light body.
Mm-hmm.
This may be good like on a hot summer day, when it's 85 degrees and you're sweating and you grab a bottle of this. You know, maybe it's better chilled.
Maybe a
I don't.
little cooler.
I don't know. I've had Beaujolais that's been warm, and I have Beaujolais that's cold, and it's, you know, I don't think this is going to get saved by a
Right.
change in temperature.
Right.
Um,
Well, there's
my
probably
goodness.
a reason why you can't find a lot of these. You know what I mean? It might be something
Yeah.
that might of that area. You know, people that are familiar with the wines that are from that area,
Yeah.
Languedoc, have some you know, French cultural roots. Maybe they,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? They've
Yeah.
experienced these wines for a while, for many years.
Yeah.
But for us, I don't know, because we're kind of not familiar at all with them and totally
Maybe, well,
ignorant
but
to
maybe,
them.
yeah, well, yeah, true. I mean, lack of knowledge is ignorance because we just don't know, and it's not out of disrespect. It's just because we don't drink this stuff.
No, well, this is. I mean, the thing is, we do non-biases, but we do make bias decisions on what we taste,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
what's what the palate does. That's what your palate does. So
Well, I think, well, the thing is, when it comes to palate bias, right? I think when you have red, you're expecting a little, like a minimum of something, right? Where you're
right,
thinking a minimum of body, a minimum of flavors and aromas and finish.
right. You put it in a
Um,
box. You know, you have certain characteristics you look for.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, it's almost like where people come here and they drink Budweiser, and it's like, why do you drink Budweiser? It's so much better beer. It's like, well,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
kind of what
know.
we
I
drink,
couldn't
you
answer.
know?
Yeah, I have no idea why
Yeah.
people would do that, but
I drank Budweiser when I was younger. I get it. You know, it's cheap.
yeah,
It's easy,
for
easy
sure.
swilling. You know, this would be easy swilling. You know, it's probably good for on a boat or something. And, you know, don't want to spend, I don't know. I think for the money, it's not worth it. I think it's definitely not wine value. I mean,
That's it. I
definitely not
mean,
the taste,
you
you
know
know?
what I mean. You rather spend money elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather buy that $5 bottle Romanian
Rikash.
Rakash. Oh, I love that stuff.
It's a
That stuff's
sipper.
That's a sipper. That is
Yeah.
totally a sipper. So I will compare that to this one because that's 5.99. Again,
Yeah.
has its
Yeah.
own unique grape, the Fatasca Negra. This has got the
That's right.
Carignan in there. So this is a native grape, obviously, to that region. Again, I'd call both easy drinkers. But that Romania one is just tremendously tastes better. It's more enjoyable, cold or
Exactly.
warm.
Oh yeah.
This one, if I bash it anymore, I know Jen's gonna be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
Stop,
Jen. Well,
stop,
thanks for
stop."
joining, Jen. Anyway, we don't have a lot of good content tonight, but we're
Oh,
gonna
come on.
we're gonna crack the one-liners later.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
All right, I'm gonna go back to the Mythique and see if
okay.
my initial assessment holds water this time. All right, let me clean my palate here. Let me.
Yeah, there you go, Pete. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so, yep, I love that.
I'm gonna do
That
the same.
aroma's nice. Yep, nice
Yeah.
aroma.
Yeah, it's appealing, like we said.
Yep. Mm. Yeah. I think the tannins make it. I think the tannins, because the way it's prickly up front and then grips in the middle, and then it's a
Yeah.
nice
Yes.
long finish.
Finish. Yeah, the finish it hangs on. It hangs
It
on.
hangs on. Yeah, I actually like it. I mean, it's not for me. It's not blowing my doors off, but it's
Right.
still it's it's
It's
fine.
it's fair. It's
It's
fair.
fair. It's
You know,
fair.
it's
Yeah.
drinkable. It's drinkable.
It is. I think it is. And, you know, it's a 2017 vintage, so it's
Right.
a little older. I could see the age in the color now versus the other one. The Perlay is 2019. Um,
And let's talk about the label, though. I mean,
yeah, yeah. All right.
we'll give him
All
credit for
right.
that, because it's
Yes.
very aesthetically
Yes.
pleasing.
All right. So all right, tell me about Minerva and the owl and what this all means.
All right. Well,
All
so
right.
Greek mythology.
Yep.
Who was it? Let's see, the woman Minerva. Right. She was the virgin
Minerva.
goddess, right? Of
Ah,
wisdom.
that's right.
Virgin
Okay.
goddess
Virgin
of
goddess of
wisdom.
wisdom.
Right.
Okay.
And then she had this owl, which was like
Yep.
her pet, her
Her
sidekick.
pet. Yep.
And
Ah.
you know, the owl basically has you know, it's got a lot of significance for the Romans.
Yep.
as well as in other, mythology as well. I know with like, like Oshin,
Yeah.
well, as well, like the owls and birds are very
Yeah.
sacred, very
Yep. That's
sacred.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and so you have that, on the label, which kind of it gets to be a little exciting, I guess. On the label, it's, I know it's for the most part pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, it's small. It's small on the
It's
label.
small,
It's
but it's
not.
visible. It's visible,
It
and the
doesn't. It
cork,
doesn't.
the cork
Yeah.
too,
Oh, the cork. Yeah, I saw the cork. Yeah. Where
right?
is
Doesn't
that?
the cork have the?
The cork's got the owl on it. I saw
Yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go, folks. There's a little. Yeah, there
Yeah,
we
there you
go.
go.
There's a little owl, the thique on there. Perlated and yeah, they had an interesting cork on that one. Like folks were geeking out now. You could tell we're, you know,
Yeah, the Owl of Athena.
Owl of Athena. All right.
Yeah.
And if any of you old '80s fans, I think this reminded me of the Clash of the Titans,
Oh yeah, yeah. There you
that
go.
goofy movie with Harry Hamlin. You know, when
Yeah,
he got
Harry Hamlin, Clash of the
when he got
Titans,
yeah, when he got the
the metallic, the
he got the
mechanical owl.
mechanical
I'm
owl
with you.
as his
I'm with you.
sidekick.
Yeah, there was a giant, like, what, Cyclops in that?
Yes, yeah, that's right. There was a whole bunch of other creatures in that thing. All right.
That's it.
And then the other thing I noticed, it's really funny. Again, we're going to geek out. I'm going to make sure I don't shake my bottle. All right. Look how short this little short. The Mythique's got this. I call it a little shorty, but because it's short. This
Right.
Perlay is really tall, very long. This one's not really stout. It's very different. But I thought that was kind of interesting. And the punts, we always talk about these silly punts. These are these
Yeah, the
little
punts.
indentations. Yep. Kind of a medium, small one in the Mythique, and then kind of a deeper one on the Perlay. Thought that was kind of fascinating. I didn't catch up any other thing. The label is just as boring on the back line on the Perlay. I didn't see much. The Mythique, actually, what I really like the Mythique label is they got the French up here in the front,
And then they have
and then they have the English in the back.
That's right.
Which I really appreciated because my French sucks. I can't. My wife can speak French, but I can't.
Oh, all right, Gail.
But
there you go.
yeah, I know. See, she's got talent. She's got talent. She just all right. She won't speak French to me, but that's okay. That's all right. All right, we're like this is the comedy show now. All right, I'm gonna take one more sip of the Mystique.
Well, you took a gamble here, Pete. You took a gamble. I like it. I don't know if it paid off, but
it's all right. Well, I think it just reinforces that, like on the Mythique, if I randomly grabbed this and I served it last night because we had pork last night,
okay.
I think it would have been fine. It would have been good. Be like, oh, look at this pretty cool bottle of wine we get to drink, and that's fine. If I grabbed the Perlay, my wife would be screaming at me like, oh, this is horrible. But sometimes it happens, and that's why you need to explore and see what you like. And, we all have different palates, but, hey, it's...
Well, we're experimenting too. You know what I mean? That's what we're about, I think, for 21,
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
about.
We are experimenting.
So
we're trying to see where the values are.
trying to push the envelope a little bit.
Push the envelope. I think sub 25 a bottle is very approachable for a lot of people. And, when you're getting 5 glasses of wine out of one bottle for $25, it's nice, and if you have eventually when you have people over your home, you're going to have more than one bottle. So, when you're starting to add 2 to 4 bottles, now you're talking $100, for 4 bottles. Well, let's say $50 for 2 bottles for, a couple to come over your house. That's a pretty reasonable expense for a nice dinner. Versus spending $50 a bottle when you're getting
That's
up
it.
there. Yeah, before you know it, you're spending $200 for a home cooked meal. That's a little tough for people.
Oh no, most definitely, yeah. Because if you're entertaining, as I know, you like to mess around with the culinary arts, Pete, and if you're gonna have people over, you probably want to get to a price point where it's it's budget friendly. Julie's
Yes.
there. Hey, Julie, thanks for joining. I
Oh, hey,
appreciate it.
Julie. Yep.
Yeah,
All right. Julie, does Julie have any questions? I know
Julie
I
might. Julie
she
might.
might
Does
have
Julie have
questions.
questions?
She's gonna say how like she's gonna ask me like, well, how bad is the Perlay?
It's no, I can't say. No, I mean, Luc Perlet does a good Pinot Noir. Okay, I'm going to say
Yeah.
that because you don't know that, Pete. I don't. They do
Mm-hmm.
good Pinot Noir. It's affordable. It's about
Yep.
$10. It's about $10.
Yeah.
It's a table wine. But
Yeah.
it's the French Pinot Noirs, and I know we're kind of digressing, but we're going to do that a little bit, I think, today.
Yep. Yeah.
The French Pinot Noirs tend to be a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So some people may not like that. They might want more of a jammy Pinot Noir. If you want a jammy Pinot Noir, the Luc Perlet Pinot Noir is not for you.
Yep.
But they do some other varietals that are good. This one, I'm not sure if we're very attracted to it.
No.
But
I think we're in consensus that the Mythique's got some legs.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. I like it. Again, it's not blowing me away like some of the other wines, but like the Carmen we had and the Edmundo and the Mysterio obviously is now a house favorite.
Absolutely.
But this again, to go into Languedoc's got a lot of wine. I mean, they really do. And
they pump it out. They pump it out.
They pump out a lot of wine, and I know they are focused on trying to generate better quality. There's a lot of people making investments in Languedoc, and eventually it's going to come around. And I think the challenges they run into is because there's a lot of cooperatives there. You have a lot of people just been making wine just to make wine. They're not really exporters or marketers, or it's all for personal consumption. They're not there to sell it. And now the consumer's demanding more from them that they may not be prepared to deliver. It's a competitive world now. You can't just show up and put out a bottle of wine. I mean, it's got to be good because you're going to be out of business soon.
Yeah, if you want to sustain, if you want to be viable,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, Julia Project. Oh, join. Hey, oh my goodness. What time is it over there? Oh my God, it's like she's in Ireland, I think.
Oh, she's in Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, Connemara. Yeah, love that
wow.
area. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. I haven't seen you join before. That's awesome.
We're getting international over here, Pete.
I know. She's a hell of a cook. She's a hell of a cook. My goodness. And she's got a farm, and she's got some animals, which I love the chickens, by the way, and the cows.
Great. That's great. We're gonna come and visit. We'll come and visit once things settle down.
Yeah. About was it 3-4 years ago we were in Ireland for a trip, for my daughter's trip. It was great. We had a blast. Ate a lot of lamb. It was
did you?
Fantastic. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
my niece has been there. My niece and her fiance, they went to Ireland for about 2 weeks or so. They had a great time. Saw the pictures. They were magnificent.
Well, well, obviously there's a lot of wonderful things about Ireland, but the beauty of that country is that you can go from one end to the other in about 3 hours. They now have the super highways now, the M's.
Yeah.
And before they never used to have that. And we went from Dublin to Galway in 3 hours. It was beautiful. It's like driving from here to past a little bit past Sunapee, or Lebanon, and
right.
My goodness. Oh, Ireland is not known for the wine. No,
That's
it's
right,
not, Gabrielle. But they have tremendous food. I think they're very I think they get they get a bad rap when it comes to food. I think
they're known for their horses.
And their cheese.
Their horses?
And
the cheese, absolutely.
Cheese,
their landscape.
The butter. And their meat. Their meat is fantastic. And then depending where you are in Ireland, obviously access to seafood. It's tremendous. In Galway, I had a lot of great oysters in Galway. So
cool.
I'm a big fan. I am a big fan. And who knows? You never know. Like England is starting to grow, getting better with their wines. It's kind of an interesting climate to be growing wine, but because they have that, the Gulf Stream comes off and it's got more of a wet, So I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but who knows? I mean, because of the internet and because of people that do apprenticeships and some of these major winemakers, and they start to, spread across the globe. They can figure out which grape varieties do well in certain climates and how to blend. We've seen an explosion of great wines everywhere. I'm kind of happy about it. So,
oh, most definitely. I mean, I heard the UK. The UK has some interesting effervescent, some sort of brute. Some
bubblies, right?
Bubblies.
Yeah.
UK is blowing
Yep.
up.
Wow.
This is a little loose tonight. Obviously it is. Our program today is a little bit loose. I was thinking of just plugging a local restaurant.
Oh, go ahead, plug.
We went there. We went there recently. And you know why I'm thinking of it now is because I had monkfish. And you know which restaurant I'm going to plug. Monkfish, which is one of my favorite fish.
Yep.
And it's, for the most part, it's cheap. It's show up money. Yeah. And I had some clams with it at Frank Restaurant in Beverly, which I highly recommend. Gabrielle and I had a wonderful experience there. We had charcuterie plate, and the service was very good. She took care of us. I'm trying to remember her name at the moment, but she was very good. We actually thought about sitting outside. Yeah. Because my wife's a lunatic. No, I'm just kidding. But because it was cold that night.
I'm staying out of that one. Yeah.
That's fine. Haley. Thanks, Gabrielle. Haley. Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say Haley was the server's name, and she was. Yeah. We ended up eating inside. Yeah. And Gabrielle was fine with that. We figured it out. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great experience. I recommend it to anybody. Obviously it's the gentleman. His name is Frank. He used to own La Espalier in Boston.
That's right. Exactly. A top-notch restaurant in Boston. That's
Michelin
right.
Star.
And monkfish. The monkfish you had, I had bacon, and I actually make. What I do normally is I make monkfish medallions, and I wrap it with bacon. Ooh, and I would serve it with one of these reds, definitely not the Perlet, but I would definitely serve it with the Mythique, because the bacon, the smokiness of the bacon, and then the monkfish would go well, I think, with the Mythique.
You think it would complement it? Yeah.
I think it would. I think the whole idea is to have as intense or intenser the wine than the fish, and I think it would stand up to maybe that smoky flavor of the bacon. Again, depends on what kind of bacon you get, but
sure.
Yep. Okay. Nice wine list. We always like to see that.
Yeah. They had a really good wine list. I had a you know what? And I'll just put it out there. It was called Field Recording. It was a blend. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's tough for me to say this because I've gone through so many different wines that I've had to explore over the last 4 years. Yeah. More entrenched now in the wine industry. So, but it was interesting. It had a Pinot Gris in it. It was a light white wine. It was blended 3 grapes. I can't remember, but Field Recording. It was a very nice wine. So,
all right,
gave that a shot.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. So, is there any tidbits that we didn't cover on Mythique or Perlet? I mean, I bashed Perlet enough. That's enough. But I want to try the Pinot though, because you are recommending it. And the Mythique,
for sure.
But you know what? This was random. I wanted to explore Languedoc. I think the Mythique is a value. It was, I think it was sub 20. I think what I paid for it was close. It was sub 15, I think.
Yeah, it was like right around 14-ish.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we got a little value there, and that's the beauty of this whole thing, folks. Is when you're not spending a lot of money, it's okay to experiment and try different wines, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not going to break the bank. When you do splurge and you spend $75, $100 a bottle and you have a really bad bottle, that crushes you because sometimes you can have corked, could be corked, could have all kinds of flaws. They didn't treat it right. They didn't store it right, but when you're spending $20 or less for a bottle and it's bad, you can dump it. It's not going to be pleasant, but you can dump it down the sink. It's not going to kill you. Right. When you dump in a $100 bottle, it's a little bit more painful.
Yeah, You're kind of set to that. You know, if you're going to buy a bottle like that, I would think you're going to drink it, even if you don't like it, just on
You
principle.
just have principle. You're like, it's like, oh, I know it's bad, but you know, maybe after 5 glasses, it's going to be better.
Well, yeah, I would think so. I mean, anything 4 glasses after that, I mean, it's going to taste fine.
Mm-hmm.
I would, you know,
Yeah.
but pivoting to something else,
Yep.
but also kind of piggybacking is, you know, I've had wines that have been $50, and which I wasn't too excited about, you know,
Yeah.
and I deal with that a lot with people when they make their wine purchases. You know, they're really, as we've talked about, and this is going to resonate again, you know, the status labeling, they kind of seek them out, you know.
Yeah.
I was just listening to a podcast earlier in reference to this Languedoc, and they're basically saying that a lot of memorable things go on when you travel and you have wine in France, you have wine in Italy, and that wine is not going to taste the same way when you come back to the U.S. because you're on vacation.
Yep, exactly.
So,
and I'm going to go back. I'm going to go root back to Ireland, because when we were in the pub and I'm drinking Guinness in the pub there.
Guinness. We all know Guinness, right?
Guinness was fantastic. And then I come here, I drink the Guinness, and it's not the same. Actually, I can make better Guinness here by myself, home brewing, than I can whatever they're serving here in the United States. But in Ireland, it was fantastic. Again, you're right. And it's also that whole experience, too. You're in a foreign country, you know, you're in a different environment. You're not used to anything. It's all new to you.
It's all, you know, it's all fresh. It's all exciting. It's all, you know, so interesting.
And that's what I call Noshtopia. My Noshtopia is when we're traveling.
Noshtopia. Okay,
Noshtopia.
I like it.
You like that? That's a new concept for people. We're going to be rolling this out, you know, once we're going to be traveling again. I have a great idea we're going to roll out. It's going to be a grand idea. You know, it's really about, when you travel, a lot of us really don't like to see the sights. You know, we don't, you know, we'll see the sights, but really we're all about focusing on what we're going to eat that night, or what we're going to eat in the breakfast, or we're going to go for brunch, or we're going to do anything. So for us, it's about that culinary experience, you know, drinking what's local, drinking or eating what's local, what's plentiful in that region. What are they known for? You know, I always that's the thing in Ireland, is whenever we went out to eat, I always ask the waitress, like, what are you known for? A rack of lamb? All right, let's get the rack of lamb. Or are you known for the fish and chips? Or I mean, it was, for me, that's where I was focusing on. And certainly I explored the cheeses a little bit more this time around, before, you know. You know, so for us, that's kind of what this whole Noshtopia is going to be all about. We have some exciting stuff we're going to roll out.
It sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you need to do. When you travel, you know, you want to get, you know, immersed in the people around you, and kind of get down with the people that, you know, you're experienced. You know, wait staff, local people, things like that, you know, and then you find, you know, the traveling, you know, you don't want to get set up with a specific tour or something like that. Maybe kind of do things, you know, spontaneous.
So the whole concept, and I'll spill a little bit out for you, so I don't want to leave you in the dark.
Oh, is this a spoiler?
It might be a spoiler, but so basically the whole concept is more of it. It's more of an intimate group, not 100 people that load onto a bus. You know, it'd be probably 20 people or less. Very carefully curated. One meal per day will be curated, and it'd be a wine meal. We're talking to the restaurateur. It would be in a scenic locale. It could be anything, but at least one meal a day. And then for people who want their trip all mapped out, we will have that laid out for you. You can pick whatever activities you do. And there's other people who just want to do it themselves, and they'll just go do whatever they want to do. But at least one meal a day per the trip is going to be curated. It's going to be a small group, so we don't have to dominate a restaurant, and we'll be able to talk with the restaurateur or the chef, or the winemaker, or the cheese maker, or whatever, the prosciutto maker. So it's going to be a very small group. It won't be outrageously expensive. It won't be like, $15,000 for a couple. It would be much cheaper, and obviously a little bit more reasonable in terms of budget. But it's definitely going to be a curated trip. And it's going to be something curated by me and one of my travel partners. and we're going to be, you're going to get to meet people. You're going to have access to the chef. You're going to have access
Sounds
to the
awesome.
winemaker.
Yeah,
It's like, it's nice to be able to talk
great.
to the chef, when he throws out the monkfish with the bacon, and then you could talk to him about the dish, tell me about this dish,
You can geek out, and understand, you know what I mean? It came from this particular person's hands, preparation and all that, and their ideas behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's because I don't know like you, but we've shied away from doing those big groups, those big group tours, because we're kind of like do-it-yourselfers, but we also wouldn't mind like having those kind of events where like one meal, during the day, it could be in the morning at brunch or dinner, like one of them is just laid out for us, where we actually sit down, they throw out a great meal, and we get to talk to the chef, or if we're having a wine taste, we get to actually talk to the winemaker themselves, not the marketing person, but the winemaker. I don't want to talk to this marketing person.
Exactly.
I want to talk to the winemaker. Like, why did you do this blend? Or what plot of grapes did you pick from? And when did you pick? And how did that kind of questions like that.
Yeah, get into all those pieces, all into those details. Yeah.
But I don't need 3 meals like that. I don't need 3 meals a day like that, because then it'd be just too much, and like there might be a part of the day where I don't want to hang out with anybody. I want to go hike, or I want to ride my bike, or I want to play tennis with my wife, or I want to go do a little sightseeing on the side, So it's like you don't have to have a group thing, but you can do it if you want to.
Yeah, you can
we would always, we can choose. We'll say, hey, we do have a group thing that's set up. If you want to do it, if you don't feel pressured. You don't have to do it at all. But we will have one meal a day where if you don't show up, that's fine. Who cares? I mean, you're paying for it, but it's like, we are going to have a special dinner, or we're going to have a special wine thing, or we're going to have a special cheese thing. I mean, it's going to be things like that where I think a lot of people would embrace that. And I think I embrace that. I think
they would. I know I would. I know Gavin and I would. No doubt. I mean, those are great ideas.
Yeah. I think there's something to it. And I think, and given what had happened in the last year,
yes,
I think a lot of people, and sadly, hopefully some people have not had some tragedy in their lives where people lost for COVID, but the people that haven't had to have that, but have had their freedoms infringed upon, they can't go do what they want to do, they haven't traveled, and they realize life is short and things like this can happen again. That's like, we need to go do what we want to do.
There's going to be a place for it. There's going to be a place for it. There's going to be a place for this, this kind of product, this kind of service.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the eat, drink, savor thing comes from. It's like,
absolutely.
Savor your meal. It's like, not every meal is a transcendent experience. Not every wine is a transcendent wine. But it's how you enjoy it, like, are you guzzling it? Well, if you're guzzling it, well, then that's a different kind of wine. But if you're sipping it and enjoying the wine, that's where we talk about savoring.
Yes.
You could have a simple ham and cheese sandwich for lunch, and you're on the bench, but at least you're out in the park, and that's an experience for you. I mean, it depends on the person too. So
it does. People into different things.
Yeah.
And we're exploring. It was cool. We got to do this session tonight. You got to explore wines. I would never have chosen them, and I'm not saying that to knock you.
Yeah. No, you're not knocking me at all. Like, again, I'll take the criticism. I'll take whatever kudos I get. It's this has been a lot of times when I do my wine fights between my wife and I.
Right.
I go to a certain region. I don't really focus on a label. Really, I just grab stuff.
Yes.
I just grab 2 wines and say, okay, let's have them battle off and see which one we like the most, and go from there. So, that's why we did Pinots. That's where I did some other stuff. We did some Washington Rieslings, just for fun. I mean, you got to explore it. I don't know about you, but I get, while I love the Misterio or I love the Thousand Lives, I don't want to be drinking that all the time. It's like, it's nice.
Oh, exactly. But, well about education here, eat drink, savor, but well about education too. So with education, we have to experiment a little bit. We have to get out of our comfort zone. That's what we're talking about doing this year.
That's right, and we're gonna just let people know. Very soon, we're going to be starting to do some Zoom sessions for our subscribers. You and I are going to be doing, obviously, our personal Zoom sessions for people. Those are special subscriber-only events, so they will not be for the public. But we're going to actually pull in some people where we're gonna give them some bottles of wine to try alongside of us, and they're going to taste them just like we are tasting them now, and that's going to be
Right.
fun. And
Right.
we're also going to try to tap in some winemakers. I'm trying to make some connections to some Italian winemakers now, where we're going to have some wine shipped in, and I'm going to have them jump on our Zoom session.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they're gonna talk about their wine, and you and I are going to taste the wine just like we're doing now,
Yeah.
and say, what do you think? And we're going to be, well, obviously we're going to be very respectful. But
Yes.
I'm going to say, I like
Yes.
this one. This one maybe not as good, but it's fine.
Right.
So,
Well, and I want to see when we get the Paisano brothers there. We talked about
I
that
would
a little bit.
love to bring those
Those
guys on.
guys
That
have
guy,
a lot of personality.
they do. I don't know
Yeah.
how good their English is. Their English might be a little, their accent might be really heavy. But who knows?
Well, we can figure out some sort of we'll put it together if we can. We'll try to put something together.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
But that
we
would be
doing here?
fine.
How are we doing here for time, Pete?
I don't have my watch with me, so that's
We
why I
might
don't know.
be, because we're
It's gonna
past the
be
hour. I know that.
all right. So we're well, we might as well wrap up because I know we can. We're gonna start talking all kinds of stuff. So, just to wrap up, folks. He and I, I picked the wines this time, so don't blame Emmanuel. All right. So we got these two wines. They're from Languedoc. I was in search of values, especially in France, because it's really hard to find anything in France of quality that's sub $50 a bottle. I hear somebody talking. It's Gabrielle. All right, and we picked the Mythique. We actually love the label. We love the owl. Emmanuel gave us a little mythology lesson
The
on the owl,
mythology. Owl of
and
Athena. Owl of
yeah,
Athena,
no,
which was kind of
owl
cool.
Athena.
That's kind
Yep.
of cool if you get into Greek
And,
mythology.
Yep. And then we tasted both of these wines, and both of them are very well blended in terms of there was a lot of grapes going on, a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
But it was interesting where the final verdict was Mythique was our champion. Luc Perlet, it needs some work. But the Mythique had 5 different grapes.
5,
yes. 5 different grape varietals in here.
That's a lot.
It was a lot, and I think we came to the consensus. We thought it was a little overdone. I think if they got rid of the Grenache and the Mourvedre, I think it would have been a really good wine. But it's good. It's got grippy tannins, got a little prickly, it's a little peppery. I think it's a very good wine. I think it's going to be good with pork or turkey or chicken. And I don't think a steak was going to work with it, but other than that, I think we have something good.
Yeah.
And both wines are again sub 20, sub 15. And I'm going to give the reins back to Emmanuel. And we are, in 2 weeks, we're probably going to be at our 1-year anniversary, or I'm sorry, 2-year anniversary for Nosh. And so I know he will pick out some beautiful wines for us to try. So I want to thank you, Emmanuel, for everything you've done in the last year, but I know we're going to have some more to talk about.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I want to thank all of my subscribers and all of my followers for joining us on these wild ramblings that we have. And hopefully you are learning more about wine like he and I are learning about wine, because you never stop learning about wine because every wine is different.
It's infinite.
It's infinite. It's infinite. It's very in, and it's actually exciting because it's nice to try something new, something different, and see where your senses take you on these wines. So, and that's why we do this. This is fun.
And don't sleep on Languedoc, on that area there, because spring is coming, and
that's right.
Rosés will be flowing.
That's right. So, on behalf of everybody, and behalf of Nosh, and on behalf of Emmanuel, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And Emmanuel, we will talk soon. Bye now.
Yes. Thank you, Pete.
All right. Take care, folks.
Take care.